way the left is trying to make it. And so, what I'm saying is if we refuse to live in their America, and we don't secede, we can secede inside of America. We secede from their institutions, we get out.
That's what the indigenous people want to do as well.
So we have to create our own schools. And we have to create our own universities. We have to deliver high quality education at a much lower cost than is done now. We would make the whole existing higher education system obsolete. We need our own media. Last November when my family met with Trump, kind of weirdly now, he goes, Dinesh, what do you think I should do after the presidency? And took me by surprise a little bit, but he meant after the presidency, and I said, well, Mr. Trump, I think you should start a network. Not a cable channel, not talk radio on TV, a lifestyle network, more like CBS. You have the money, you have the influence, most important, you already have the audience. So, you would have half the country. Let everybody else fight over the other half. It's an economic opportunity. Do it. Do it. I think
this is separation. People that can live together.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we need to make our own movies. We need to have our own comedians. What I'm saying is we create our own culture, we live in it, and thanks to the Second Amendment, we defend it.
This is the idea of having people to live together in a cauldron. They have to practice customs and ways of life which do not suit them.
Great idealistic mission of education, education in the true sense, in the true Socratic sense, this is not something that you should give up on. This is not something that you should forget about. I think back to Socrates on the streets of Athens, and it's such a sort of iconic picture. You've got this rather absurd, toga-clad, bald guy who seems to have no job. And on the street, he just goes around asking people questions. He seems to have nothing to do other than to explore things like, what is justice? You know, what is truth? And you think to yourself, wow, Athens must have been in a moment of kind of glorious, affluent idleness that enables this guy to kind of pass his time on the street every day. It's kind of like an intelligent homeless guy. But then you realize that this was not in fact the case. At the very time Socrates is doing this, Athens is in the middle of a terrible fratricidal war against Sparta that would last 25 years and destroy Athens, which would never rise again and live only as an ideal for future generations to emulate. So this kind of Socratic discourse is taking place under conditions that are of the most extreme and dire sort. And yet, Socrates knows that some things are eternal, some things live on, some things can never be killed off no matter how crazy the political environment. For me, a lot of the falling in love with America was falling in love with education in the true sense, and the university as the true sense.
But university in the United States, it's not a true sense, because the education colleges, Christian colleges founded, and people that go there to become professors, and they study Bible and the New Testament for 4 years. This is not knowledge, this is indoctrination, right? Therefore, the education in the States is pretty medieval as well. Imagine your child to go to a school and have a pastor or a professor who graduated, took his degree from a Christian college, and he would be teaching the child with insinuations of Christian faith, or listen to evangelists roaring every Sunday on television sets. Dennis Souza, he's an Indian. He is influenced by the Greek civilization because their country has been visited campaigns of Dionysus, thousands of years back. Then Heracles went there, and third, Alexander the Great recently. So Greek kings ruled India, parts of India, and they integrated Buddhism with Hellenic philosophy. And as well, a Greek had become a master Buddhist thinker. He's an indigenous, and see what is the product of a man when he's influenced under the Greek civilization. Another guy in the United States called Cyrus Parsa, he has founded the AI organization, Artificial Intelligence. He's been a time in China. He learned Chinese. He came back and he's giving us information and worthy information on the internet. He has probably ties with the White House through his work, his books, and his knowledge. He has conveyed and made it available for Trump's government. He is also a Persian, indigenous, a Zoroastrian, also educated in Hellenic civilization. See what does when we have the proper education in our lives. We become worthy. We become worthy for the rest of us. And now I will show you another clip from a movie which has messages quite amazing. Symbolically, we see the composer of music, Carmen Dragon. We had the lawgiver Dragon in our latest video, the GESARA accord. His music is dramatic, just like our theme is dramatic.
trusted. Why should he be different?
Dr. Darius Green, Philosophic Guide. Organon Aristotle, Novum Organum Bacon, Tertium Organum Ouspensky. The key to cosmic consciousness, the spatial understanding of time. Do not be lost in the labyrinth of confused thought. You sure we've come to the right place?
Oh, sure. Oh, I forgot to tell you, though. He's nuts, too.
Aristotle, Bacon, and Ouspensky. Pretty fair parlay.
All attempts to purify and elevate the mind will assist you in this attainment and facilitate the approach and the recurrence of these happy intervals. There are different roads by which this end may be reached. The love of beauty which exalts the poet, that devotion to the one and that ascent
What do we wait outside?
which makes the ambition of the philosopher. These are the great highways conducting to the height above the actual and particular, where we stand in the immediate presence of the infinite, who shines out as from the depths of the soul. Such was one of Plotinus' letters to Flaccus, and I especially wanted you to hear it because it coincides with my own theory of knowledge. Shall we concentrate upon that perhaps a minute or two? My friends, there is some new literature which Miss Dobson will distribute as you leave. And now, my friends, I'm tired. You must excuse me. I'll be back. Good night.
We're going to have trouble with that one.
Good night. Good night.
May I speak to Dr. Green for a moment, please?
Oh, Dr. Green never gives personal interviews after a reading. He's usually much too tired.
Well, unfortunately, this matter can't wait. It's much too vital. If it weren't, I wouldn't think of disturbing it.
Yeah, he knows me. Just tell him.
I'm sure it'll be all right.
May I have your names, please?
My name is Paul Murphy, and this is Joseph Rayner.
I'll tell Dr. Green.
Thank you, sir.
Doctor, this is Paul Murphy and Joseph Rayner.
How do you do, sir?
What is it, gentlemen?
Oh, may we talk to you alone?
Well, I have no secrets from Miss Dobson.
Well, this matter is not concerned with cosmic consciousness.
There are no other matters that I wish to be consulted about.
May I be excused, Dr. Green?
If you insist.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night, my dear. How dare you come here? How dare you?
Easy, Doctor, easy.
I refuse to have anything to do with you. That life for me is over. I shall heal no more bodies. I shall heal only minds.
There's nobody to heal. All we want is a name. We've been looking for a lawyer of the right kind, and we didn't know where to go.
Go to the classified section of the telephone book and look under lawyers.
Doc, let's be reasonable about this. Now, you've worked with the mob. You must know someone.
Oh, that was years ago.
2 years ago. Just 2.
Doc, you don't want to be bothered with us anymore, do you?
No.
Well, then, give us a name.
Try Keith Mandan. Cherokee Mandan. He's an evil man, too.
Thanks.
The only way you can thank me is not to come here again.
Well, anyway, Doc, it's nice to see you reformed. Dr. Dobson, I presume?
Mr. Murphy, was your interview satisfactory?
Oh, very. Now that I presume once, may I presume again?
In what way?
Well, we are badly in need of a phone booth. And we seem to be out of the range of the phone booth, and I wondered if you would drop us at a drugstore.
I'm afraid I don't know you, Mr. Murphy.
Well, forget Miss Thompson. I don't know you either.
Get in.
This is very nice of you.
Oh, not at all. What did you think of the doctor's paper?
I came in a little late. Besides, I'm not up on cosmic consciousness.
It wasn't on cosmic consciousness. It was on the psychology of knowledge.
Oh, same thing.
What is it, religion or something?
No, it's a philosophy. It goes into the fourth dimension. Or I should say the mathematical conception of the fourth dimension.
Oh, that lets me out.
I'd like to see you at one of the doctor's meditations, Mr. Murphy.
Oh, I'd be a very bad influence. My vibrations would be positively poisonous. You see, I don't hold with the theory that the fourth dimension is either philosophical or mathematical. I think it's purely intuitional.
Oh?
I don't mean to start an argument or sound pretentious, but that's the way I feel about it.
I never heard that before.
Well, something we should go into sometime, among other things. Hey, there's a drugstore.
Well, there'll be others.
What is the teaching out of this? What did we learn? We learned that there is a connection between the philosophy of the D5 dimension 5 and 4, which GESARA is talking about, and Aristotle's metaphysics. This is the useful information and knowledge which we have to have in the new era of humankind. Comparing with the one we just passed, the last 2000s of years, let's see what the great Goethe has to say about it. He says, we taking it as a cause, the myth of Jesus Christ, the world must remain inactive for 1000 of years, and nobody cannot think logically. He must spend energy, science, ingenuity in order to support this kind of myth, this kind of plasma, close. You see, humanity spent so many hundreds of years, 1,700 years, since 325 on Constantine became emperor. A change closed down the years and the longevity of the Roman Empire, and he started the Christian Orthodox Empire. And from that time on, the world is changed. The conscience of the people changed. They lost, they persecuted their old ways, their customs, their language, their books, their education. And the new kind of religion closed down on civilization, and the medieval times came. The curtain, the iron curtain, fell on humanity. Well, another thing we learned is the major tenet, major realization that philosophy is not religion. Philosophy is science. It is the tool which is handling all the knowledge in the world. In this book, on page what page, I don't remember. There is a quite extraordinary information that very few people know. Just we go there for a second. Yeah, page 326, right. In this page, from the top, the difference between the English and Britain, okay? I'll surmise it in a few words. You can sit and read the whole page. In 1778, after the revolution, after the time of independence, after 2 years, the fathers of the United States Constitution sat down and began talking about what kind of language they will adopt for their new country to be able to have a future, a bright future. There were 3 languages to consider: Hebrew, English, and Greek. What they did, that they put it on vote, democratic vote, and by one vote, the winner was English. That was the most dramatic and sorrowful day of the United States of America. Here it is, replaced by a Greek. Here you agree, yeah. They wanted to replace the language. Read this page. This is the shield of California, Goddess Athena. Now we start reading and educating ourselves books which have been banned from the establishment. One of them is Bernard Russell's, the man who declared that he is agnostic. He went to the United States to practice his, he was a professor, and he was banned, he was expelled because he said he was agnostic, he was not Christian. The United States of America, of the founder fathers of the Constitution, of which citizens today are very proud of and rely upon it for the freedom and the goodies that provides, sent back to Europe, to England, this professor because he was not a Christian. These are the crimes among many other crimes of the new country they founded. Read these books for knowledge. And read these books for information. This kind of books, humanity was forced to study for 1,700 years. This kind of books we see here. We educate ourselves, or else we'll say this one to ourselves: we feel pride of the Nashvillians who have created this magnificent replica of the original Parthenon. In Nashville there is a football team called Titans that ties with this present temple because Athena, her race comes from the Titans. She is the beloved daughter of Zeus, and she's the goddess of wisdom and of the justifiable war, let's not forget it. Americans should go there, like, with reverence, visit this temple, sitting outside of it, because we sitting outside our tables, we don't enter the tables, sitting outside for our libations, and do their own libations and ask her help for the present conditions they are. Bring peace upon them and give them the light, give them the spirit to see the light and start getting educated and find themselves, start studying philosophy. And I have a message also for the president.